As counties across our region struggle to pay for public safety, some are also wondering how to keep jails in operation.
A century ago, though, not only did counties operate jails, but many communities also had their own lockups. In tonight's Oregon Trails, Newswatch 12's Ron Brown looks at some of the jails that help keep communities safe.
Possibly the oldest existing city jail in Southern Oregon is here in the 125-year-old Jacksonville City Hall. Plaque on the wall says it was built in 1880 for $2,500 and included 2 jail cells in addition to a clerk's office, fire station, and council meeting room, which is still in use today. That was before the Jackson County Jail was built. Well, about 25 years before that, Kirbyville was the new county seat of the newly formed Josephine County. This is that county's first jail, a wooden 2-story structure built on land donated by the local doctor. It had 4 cells on the ground floor and 2 upstairs.
The jail opened in 1858, and it was in use actually after the county seat moved to Grants Pass in 1883. It was still actually the jail, and then in 1893 it was finally torn down. And ironically, when they were tearing it down, they actually found what was called a dirk, like a handmade knife, out of a nail or some piece of metal from the blacksmith, probably, that somebody smuggled into one of the prisoners.
This is a door from that old Kirby jailhouse. That was in the late 1880s. The county seat moved to Grants Pass, and a new courthouse was built with this jail behind the courthouse, which is where the current courthouse stands. The city of Grants Pass had its own jail when the city hall was in this building on 6th Street. That's where the Golden Rule store is now. You can still see the bars and wire mesh on some of the upstairs windows from the alley behind. When this became the new city hall, another small jail was included. Heavy wire mesh on a back window shows where that was. The city of Rogue River also had its own jail for a while, located in a small stone building at the back of the old fire station shown in this photo. The city of Gold Hill actually had a wooden lockup until this concrete building was put up in the early 30s. It too was attached to the fire station and was mostly used to hold drunks and other rowdies till they could either sober up or be taken to the county jail. Tragically, one inmate suffocated to death in 1932 when fire broke out in the first building, and that led to the construction of this calaboose. The city of Ashland maintained a small lockup for many years. This wanted poster offered a $30 reward for the capture of a deserter from the U.S. Cavalry who broke out of the Ashland jail in the late 19th century and referred to the jail as a calaboose. That's a Spanish word for dungeon. Now, this is where the Jackson County Jail was for many years. It was here in 1927 the D'Entremont brothers were held while their train robbery trial played out in the old courthouse next door. The old Jacksonville jail served for many years as a children's museum. It's now an art gallery. Pretty much outlived its usefulness by the late 20s when the county seat was moved to Medford, and the jail there was established on the top floor of the county courthouse. You can still see bars on some of the top floor windows at the back of the old courthouse in Medford. A new county jail was built across the street about 40 years ago. But the biggest of all was probably the Medford City Jail that was in the basement of the City Hall that used to stand in what is now a vacant lot across Central Avenue from the Elks Lodge. It was here that one creative inmate actually created the silver and abalone key to the city, now on display at the Medford Airport. The first Klamath County Jail was in this stone building back of the original courthouse. This wooden structure was the stockade and jail at Fort Klamath. It has since been restored and is part of an interpretive display. Bonanza's last jail is this building, but an earlier structure had a tragic ending in 1903 when 2 Indian boys died when that old wooden jail caught fire. Well, today all these city jails are gone or are museum displays. In Medford, Ron Brown, Newswatch 12.
The Jackson County Jail recently expanded by remodeling the basement area that formerly housed the Sheriff's Department. Curry, Klamath, and Josephine County are all operating on reduced staff and beds at their county jails. No cities in our area currently operate their own jail.